Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday's Group Mastermind. Amanda here, along with Michael and some team members on the team, getting ready to answer your most persistent questions, valuable questions of things that you guys are, having trouble with or challenges, and then your wins. What has been really working well for you? We were looking over the status of most of our pros from April, and huge kudos to Dante here, getting into a range that has put him, into the six-figure run rate, for his year. So, yep, got some clapping, Dante. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In 1.2 miles, turn right on Oxford Valley Road.
Gonna mute you here. So, just, we wanted to jump in some questions today, that you guys have wrote in. So remember, some of those things that you can do to help support the discussion of this group is every Wednesday, end of business, go ahead and write us in to support@myfitpod.com to ask us questions that you may have to the leadership team, the coaches, and then other team members, across the globe, of what you're having, challenges with, or things that you want to share with the group, right, Michael? That helps us lead these discussions. And I know we've had a lot of conversation this week about transition and conversion and what happens once we get them to show up for your main event, or what happens when they're in the door at your studio. And that conversation, would you say that's about right, what we're hearing and seeing a lot of this week?
Exactly. Whether, even on the sales calls, whether you're just on a call with a potential client, just sales as an overall theme is something that we've been talking about a lot. So we were thinking about opening up the discussion. Good to see that Dante's here. He's kind of killing it in the sales department, but wanting to go over some of the frameworks that we use to make sales and get input from you guys, on what's working for you. Specifically, Dante's kind of doing well with that. So yeah, that's what we're hoping to talk about primarily today, is the sales strategy, making those transition offers. So why don't we jump into that? It looks like Dante may be driving. He might not be able to come off mute, so feel free to jump in when you can. But did want to hear how, just like kind of a description of what you do when you get in front of a new prospect and how that conversation generally goes, and what, you find is most effective as far as a strategy to convert those people once you're, get them on the phone, or they're, they just come to their first free class. What is it that you say to them and convert them?
The one, when it's over the phone, the thing I do is try to just convince them to get through the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did you hit the link? What was your reasons? What are your fitness goals? Like, how can we help? Let's see, how can we help? So, and then I just explain to them like what we do here, how it's more than just fitness. So give them an ideal of just, you're not just coming in to get trained. We coming in to retrain your thinking, how you think, how you see fitness, and how you engage in just your daily life, and making this a habit, a part of your life where you got a 30-minute block for yourself every day, at least 4 times a week. So I try to encourage them over the phone conversations to get on board from that talk first. But it's easier when they get in the door. Because when they get in the door, now you walk them through a small workout as you talk to them more, and then you start pointing out to why they need to work out. So you just point out their weaknesses. Like, oh, I can see you out of breath fast, or you can't do squats correctly, push-ups, you got to do them on your knees right now, so your strength. So I just try to pick them up from there, and just let them know, oh, it's okay. This is perfect. Let them know that everybody starts off right here. Everybody start off somewhere. And then when you get them in the door, though, I think that's been the easiest one for me. Once they do the first session, it's like most of them I can get to come back through the door over and over again, because I just give them the motivation that they need to keep going. Because most people are looking for motivation.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for the motivation first to get started. And now I explain to them, motivation don't keep you going. Consistency keep you walking through the door. When you find out your why. So I always write on a card and ask them, put your why on the back. Why do you need to work out? Why do you think you need fitness in your life? And the ones who answer that, the ones who keep coming back through the door.
I love that. Yeah, that's a really good strategy. It sounds like some of the takeaways are that when you're on, taking them from say Messenger or something online to the sales call, the first goal is just getting them into the door, right? That's what you're talking about when
Yes.
you're on the phone. And then once you get them in the door, you're giving them a good experience. You're pointing out kind of what they need to work on and what they're good at. And then you're essentially seeing if you can get them in again, right? At the end, or you're making your transition offer to them,
Yes.
after that.
Yes. And then once someone come in or sign up over the link and just say they don't come in, some people do it, sign up and book a session, but don't come in. And miss, so then I just follow up with texts after. Like I just after I let like 2 days go by, I'll send back a text out. Hey, just checking up on you, trying to see how you doing. I know you missed. I know life happens at times. We all get busy. We all get caught up. But don't forget, fitness is the most important part because our health. Without our health, we can't do all the other things. So just try to stay engaged with them because you're gonna get a lot who might sign up and then don't come in and show, or sign up, come a couple times, but then don't come for about a week. So it's like, hey, you got to keep engaged because a lot of them is in their mind they want to do it, but it's something holding them back. So they find one simple excuse will keep them from doing it.
Yeah.
Like one simple thing will stop them from walking through the door the next day. If it could be anything, and then definitely if they get sore from the workout, that really discourages them. They feel they need to take 2 days off because they sore. And then you guys just explain to them about the soreness and why they're going to be sore and the reasons behind it because you haven't been active. Your muscles got to tear them down to build them back up. That's just a buildup of lactic acid and this and this and this. So you just got to give them a little signs behind the soreness as well. But the key is staying engaged. Like you gotta just stay engaged with them. It becomes a lot because you gotta do a lot more work with feeding them. But it's worth it at the end. But then they value you. They look forward to coming to you. So that's a good thing because you get some that's discouraged a lot or don't want people to see where their weakness is at, and them be the hardest ones to get to keep coming through the door. So you just gotta try your best to your best ability to motivate them to get them to come back through your door.
Yeah. I want to jump into that conversation because I think you brought up like a holistic like overhang here of this conversation of sales, guys. And I think that's something that we've missed, in conversations that I've had individually with pros through it is just like you said, Dante, you've got to communicate your value, right? So most of you have boosted events or you had word of mouth, right? Like there's some type of value already built in what the communication was and how they came in organically through your funnel. The second is you've got to identify their why, their problem, why they're there, because people people dislike the sales process, right?
Yes.
If they think that you only care about selling them and closing the deal, that is like a huge turn off, especially in this business for most people, right? They want to know that you are really understanding what their goals are and why they're there. And I think Jen and I just had this conversation with Michael earlier this week, right? Like, okay, people aren't showing up for X, Y, or Z. And it's like, okay, well, why did they click the link? Why did they say that they were interested into it? You had a whole bunch of benefits and things that you were discussing on your event page or your website or whatever it is, but like, why are they there? Because we need to gather information, make it a conversation, right? In order to repeat back to them often, right? Well, you told me X, Y, and Z is important, right? I'm not moving well. I have no stamina. I've got little kids. I can't run around with them and be the mom or dad that I want to be. Okay, awesome. Well, their objection coming up is probably time because they've got little kids right off the bat, right? We know that's going to be a barrier for them. Second is they haven't been doing it. So just like Dante said, right? They're probably motivated but like very hesitant to start again to get through the door. And so you've got to keep bringing it back to their why, to their problem through that conversation. And then it's getting them to show up. Awesome. Like, I'm really excited that you like took the first step. You had this conversation with me. Like, I know that I, as a provider, as a specialist, as an expert in my field, right, can go in and do X, Y, and Z for you. And let's get you in. Does Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 9 o'clock work for you, or 8 o'clock in the morning? And they're going to say yes or no. And if they say yes, then you immediately get them into that next step, registered, creating their account, whatever that next step is that you are asking them. It's a call to action, but you're creating value, which you already did because they're there, identifying their problems, their whys, their information, right? So that you can lead the experience, lead the conversation a little bit more, and make it a conversation. So Jen, I know you're on mute here right now, but you had just messaged us earlier today, right? Someone came in and said, like disc degeneration, right? And I had asked you, like, was that something that you can, support in benefiting them through what you offer? And you said what? Oh, can't hear you. You're still on mute.
Yep. I can help them and support them, but they were asking if that they were on disability, and so that they they couldn't afford anything unless it was free. So I was like, well, I didn't have the best wording, but you guys helped me respond back to explain that my program is not free, but I can help with your issues. Definitely, if you'd like to come try a class for free, I could show you some things. And at least this way it gets them, it would get her in the door, so to speak.
And what will happen while they're in the door? So like, she's already given you an objection about price right up front, right? Money. Like, I can't afford it. I can tell you, if there's value built up for it, everyone will find something to afford what they need. She's paying medical bills, lots of other stuff. Well, guess what? If you could divert some of that money, and maybe modify or divert a sliding scale or whatever to want to help, you're going to get off of X, Y, and Z, and you're going to have more supplemental income because you're not doing all of this stuff. But,
I often repeat to my clients or prospects, if you don't make time for your wellness, you are forced to make time for your illness. And it's just that simple. It's just, I mean, that quote is on repeat half the time, because you got to knock that into their heads. That like, what do you mean you don't have time? You had time when you were stuck in the hospital last week. That you made time for that. Like, you had no choice when you get, so this is where I try to help reshape their mindset to see that, the ones who are like, oh, I have to go to physical therapy, or I have this, like, do you want to spend the rest of your life saying I have to go to physical therapy, or I get to go work out now, I get to go do yoga? And I try to shift their mindset a little bit with that. But yeah, as far as with this lead, I would get her in to the free class either way. And then when she's there, I would let her know that if she enjoyed it, she would let me know she had a good time with it. She wishes she could stay. And I'd let her know that I'd have a free week, that she can at least participate in this free week. And then it's $1 a day. So it comes out to an introductory promo rate of $30 for the first month. So she would get a good deal on that. It's usually more than that. So I would try to get her in and transition her in some way that would make her feel like she's getting a good deal, and try it. And since she did enjoy herself this first class, this is only the beginning. Give yourself a month, see how you feel after a month. And hopefully, they're having a good time and they are feeling great, because why wouldn't they? And they would stay, hopefully. Keep them.
Right. Then you have that whole, month or so to kind of communicate that value, to show them what it's about, to get them feeling better. And then it's maybe a slightly different conversation, like towards the end of that, where it's like, okay, now it's only $2 a day to keep doing this and feeling better in my, wellness than my illness, essentially. And I think that that's a perfect strategy, where you're understanding why they're there, like Amanda said in the beginning. And then, you're making that easy first step into the door. And then you're, giving them a good experience and where and changing their mindset from like, I can't afford this to I can't afford to not do this. And you're giving yourself some time to do that. So I love that strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's keeping them warm, right? So like we're going through the funnel, the sales funnel, right? Like communicate the value, identify their problems, make it a conversation, get them, keep them warm, get them to show up for the class, right? Get them, you know, they call it customer care is what it is, and it's like there's so much that happens long before like actually asking for the sale, and like guys, at the end of the day, you got to ask for the sale, right? Like there has to be a transition. Like it's not anything new. This is the game that's been played for years and years. And if you're going to run a business, like it's a crucial part of the conversion for, you know, any lead moving into customer. And they know it's coming, you know, in a sense.
It's part of your value though, too.
Yeah.
So I want, you know, like try to embrace that sale as part of, because yeah, this is not just for fun. I'm not doing this just for free. This is my living. This is what I devote my career to. And so I think it's good to place that value on your price and know we're going to have a transaction and you're going to feel good about it because they're going to get what they're paying for. You want to make sure that they're happy.
Mm-hmm. Anyone on the line have any like difficulties at, well, I guess let me pause. Anyone have any difficulties in any of these sections that we were talking about, the identifying the problem or the conversation, or like keeping them warm and getting them to the first session or asking for the sale? We've talked about 4 so far. Anyone questions on that, or this
Or
is
if you want to even just share an experience that you've had as far as like a conversation that did or did not lead to a sale, and we can, you know, collectively strategize on how we could improve in the future on similar combos.
yummy.
Yeah, thank you. This is super helpful. Um, I think from our last week's mastermind conversation, I really picked up on the social media of just promoting it for value and not trying to make it about the sale. And a lot of people caught attention to that and have been messaging like, hey, I can't make it this week, but I'm gonna come next week. And so there's some people who've been doing that. And then there's some people who've messaged saying that it's your classes are at the same time that I take other classes at. And I think like for me to just like dig into that has been something like, oh, okay, what other classes do you take? That's a question that's coming to my mind. If there's another time that will work for you, I'm happy to do a one-on-one with you at that time. Is something I can start doing more of instead of just saying, hey, this classes are happening again this week, would you like to come? So that's what I thought of after listening to this conversation. But I think it's like the community that I know, many of them are interested, but and they like the stuff or like they comment, but there's nothing sometimes after that. And like I don't know how to go into that conversation of just checking in with them personally, unless they message me first, because I don't want to feel like I'm bombarding them for no, like they're not interested. And so how do we even open the door when we know people are just like excited about it but don't really show any other interest after that excitement?
Right. So I think that's something that's, first of all, very normal to happen. Like people tend to go through like stages of the funnel where they're, you know, unaware at first, they don't even know who you are. Then they become interested. They're now aware of you and they're showing interest. And then it does usually take some time for them to, you know, keep watching your content and learning who you are and what you have to offer before they're like usually fully ready to take the step themselves into taking a class or something like that. So how you want to look at it is try to meet people where they are. So if they're not, you know, like ideally they are responding to like an ad or an offer post. So you're saying like, send me a message if you want to jump into my next class as an example. And then they would be kind of inbound leads at that point. So when you're reaching out to people, you're really not needing to ask them for anything or like even present them with an opportunity to convert. It's more like you want to optimize those reach outs to be either just, hey, welcome, thank you so much for following, and stuff like that, or giving them something. So like you could say, hey, specific person, that even especially if they like commented or something on your post and said, I love this, I'm super excited about this, like you could message that person specifically. If they do comment, you're allowed to message them on especially Instagram, and it won't go to their, like the hidden inbox essentially if they've already messaged you. So that's a good opportunity to say, to follow up with that conversation. Ideally, you either pick up on your comment, the conversation that you were having in the thread, or you could say, hey, I think you would love this class. I'd love to give you a free, class pass for, I hold it on, on Tuesday and Thursday, whatever that is. And just say, here's the link to take a class of mine for free. And you're just giving them something. You're just, and then leaving it at that essentially. It's when you make your offer posts, which are more general to, and also less frequent. You're not just always offer posting. Like you said, you're primarily value posting, you're showing some results in your other posts. And then you're making some of those offer posts that may be something like, hey, I'm noticing a lot of new followers. I would love for some more of you guys to be able to jump into one of my classes. Here's my schedule. Send me a message if you want to join, or something like that. And then those people are already reaching out in response to your call to action, which is them doing something. So then it's a natural conversation into, the answering of their question. Like they just reached out to you in response to getting that free class. So it's like, here you go, here's the class. So I think that just differentiating, cold reach outs, which shouldn't be asking for things, from inbound leads, which is when you want to present an offer.
Yeah. I think to just add to that too, I mean, you said there are two things that I want to respond to. One was the person that said, I have classes at other times. So you should absolutely ask them. Amazing. I'm so glad that you're moving and doing stuff. What are you doing? Right. And maybe it's another dance class or hip hop or whatever. I would go back and say, I know you have a reoccurring class at that time. Would you allow yourself to come and just take my class 1 week? Right? It's not going to cost you anything, but I want you to try it because I really think that you're going to like it based off of X, Y, and Z. Right? So it's not forcing them, it's just asking them, like, would they mind missing to come and participate if they really want to? And then that gives you again the opportunity to walk through the door, build value, warm them up a little bit more, because they might like your class better than what they're paying for and doing already. Right? But if you don't overcome that and at least ask, they can say no, but what do you have to lose if they say yes? You've got another person coming in through the door and saying, having an amazing time, an amazing experience. And then second to that, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. It's going to come back to me because there was two there. Oh my goodness.
I think it's
I got it. It came back. Those that are liking the post, right, guys, and are, opening up the conversation, I want to challenge you to assume that they're always going to say yes. And what do I mean by that? Awesome. You're interested. I've got class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this time. Which day works best for you to come?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's kind of like the assumed close in a way, as you could call it.
I assume that everyone in front of me is they've reached out, or I assume everyone who's coming or has talked to me or whatever is like they're here, and then I'm gonna close them. Like that's I don't know if it's confidence or ego or whatever, but I go into it out confident because I know like what I have to offer is of high value, right? And you guys are all here. You're doing the entrepreneurship for a reason. Like not many people take that step and do this. And say like what you have to offer is so valuable. Like just own that. Like own it. And know that and educate them on why what you do is going to help them. And I know Jen's really great about that. Diana, you are very particular into, a specific target audience of pregnancy. And so, yeah, I assume, and it's okay if they say no, it's not going to hurt me, but I know that they're going to come back because I've built value in the conversation of why this, and this, and what I can offer. Because it keeps them warm. Keeps them warm. You keep following up, like Dante said. Keep following up. You know, checking in on them, and they'll eventually come around. They usually do. Maria, our CEO, what did she say that one gentleman? She kept calling and calling every month for like 8 months, 9 months. And finally, he's like, all right, I'm going to come over to your gym.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it was just a follow-up. They're eventually going to be there. That's why, you know, that's why people advertise all the time. They put lots of money to get that brand in front of you and see you and follow up. Because eventually they're going to convert and try it and build that value. Dante, were you talking to us? Because you're on mute if you were talking. Oh, he said no. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's good points there, Amanda. And I think we said both that we shouldn't be extremely pushy and also that we need to ask for the sale. So I think that's an important point there, because you absolutely do need to ask for the sale. But you also want it to be a natural conversation. You want it because, like Amanda said in the beginning, like as soon as people start realizing that you're selling them, it's not ideal. Like the mindset that I like to think of when going into a sales call is that it is just a normal conversation between someone who needs help and someone that can help them. And if you have that mindset, you kind of are naturally going to go into it through that framework that Amanda was describing, where you're understanding why they're here, why they're on the call, and what their needs are as step number one. If you don't, if you take one thing I think out of this call, like remember that when you are talking to someone, you want to understand what they need and what their kind of end result is, why they're on the call. And only kind of then can you explain how your service gives that to them. And then that's all the conversation is. It's just say, well, for example, you're on a conversation and they say they want to lose, this much weight, and you're asking, okay, so what have you done? You're understanding what they've done to this point, and then you're trying to offer value too in that convo, as far as like, well, I can see why this doesn't work. This, my program might work better because of this. And, you explain your process, and then at the end of that, you present them with an easy next step. Like you're asking for that easy conversion. It's like, because they've already basically said yes, ideally, on this conversation. So you're going to repeat what they say to you, back to them. And they're going to say, yes, yes, yes. You're going to say, so I understand this is why you're here, and this is the result you want. And they're going to say, yep, yep. And you're then going to say, well, this is pretty much exactly what I specialize in, helping people do, people exactly like you. And this is how you could take the first step. If you have, multiple options where you have a VIP program and you have a group program, for example, that's where you can kind of lead that conversation into like, you can present that. You could start with your higher end offer. You can say, I have multiple ways of of giving this result to you. I have a group option and I have a VIP option. What do you think? What are you looking for? And just asking them, right in that conversation, like what were they looking for? Were they looking for a one-on-one type of experience or more of a group thing? And they'll certainly tell you. And then you'll say, great, well, that you sound perfect for my group program, or you sound perfect for my one-on-one VIP coaching program where we meet once a week. And then and they'll say, yeah, I agree. You just pretty much gone through a normal conversation and reached the same conclusion together. And that's pretty much how you want it to go.
Michael, can you say that one more time? It was at the beginning of that thought about educator, the sales. And I know we talked about this earlier in our group, but can you repeat it one more time?
Yeah,
for everyone at home, not here and here at the call.
Yeah, sales should be a natural and normal conversation between someone who needs help and someone who can help them. That's it. You're the person that can help somebody that has a specific problem, and then you're just talking to them and understanding, what their problem is and seeing if you can help them. And then if you can, you're offering to help.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it.
Perfect. And I know there's two other conversations too. I'm not a salesperson. I'm an educator, right? I'm educating you based off what you told me of how I can benefit you. right? So there's another way to think about it. I'm an educator. And you all are educators and change makers and healers across the globe. The other one that was brought up earlier, which I thought was really great about the sales process, was from very influential. He's one of our investors here at MyFitBot, and he's amazing, Anthony. He's like, I'm giving them a disservice if I don't present them or tell them what my offer is or what the price is or what is the best value for what they're doing, right? So I'm giving them a disservice if I don't say, well, this is going to be your best value. This is my membership, and this is why it's my best value to choose from, right? And pause, like present, pause, read their body language, read what they're saying, and then react to that and follow up with them. So
Exactly.
Alyssa gave us a thumbs up. So you resonated with that. Do you want to come off of mute and just explain what sparked that thumbs up?
Yes, I actually, I'm obviously part of this MyFitPod, and I apologize, I'm on the road, y'all. So if you'll hear radio in the background, there's a lot of stuff going around here. But I actually have taken a lot of like motivational type stuff with Tony Robbins and Dean Grazielski's. And one of the things that they talk about a lot is when you have the mindset of selling, you cloud your mind with judgment already. Whereas where you go in with the mindset of service, you're actually being there just to service that individual. It changes the whole perspective of the conversation. So when you said that, it really just kind of resonated with me because it's so true. So yeah. And I'm new here, y'all. So thank y'all for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, welcome, Melissa. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That was great. I love that. There's so many, but we're all saying the same thing, right? All of there. So questions, more comments, anything that came up this week in a conversation that you weren't sure how to approach, or you want to just talk out loud about it and get some feedback from those in the room. Pause here for a second.
I have a question for y'all, if that's okay. Being that I am a new MyFitPod Pro, I am obviously getting back into the game. As Amanda, I've spoken to you before about, my situation and everything. And I just kind of want to know from experience, when you first started, if you had any, obstacles or even the imposter syndrome, which I suffer from a lot. And of course, that's just me feeling like, oh, I'm not set out for this. I can't do this. But I just want to see if anyone has any experience with that, or how you've overcome that to help you be successful with being on MyFitPod.
Yeah, I had that. I had some of that a lot. I had a lot of obstacles when I first got started. With coming from just my situation, my background, how I was. Not that will help me back, but just coming out and you trying to get people to see the value in you and your greatness, how good you are with your craft or what you're doing. And the best thing to do is just keep displaying it. Like if you shoot videos, I always went to videos or talking to people and just let myself shine in front of individuals and showing that I can help them and the reason why they need to train with me. So I just kept being consistent with that. And then just with my FitPod, it helped me with the next level of we're getting out there, we're getting to the people more with the ads and doing the videos for the ads and stuff like that to attract more attention to it. And then the more you keep doing it, the more you get comfortable knowing you belong in that space. So right now you just uncomfortable because it's kind of new, getting started. So it's just getting out of that space and just believing in yourself. One thing you got to do with this is just believe in yourself. It's going to be obstacles. It's not going to happen overnight with you. It's going to look like something going to happen fast, boom, and then it's going to drop down again. And then it's going to have to start again, like you're starting over again. And that happened to me a few times, but you just got to stick with it and just keep the momentum going. You keep the momentum going, and everything else going to be history, You're going to lose some along the way. You're going to gain some along the way. Sometimes it's going to be like you lost too many at one time, at the same time. But If you keep going and fighting, it's going to be replaced. And then you just keep using the system that's working for you. But always let yourself shine. That's been the best for me, just being the spoken one for myself. Like just let myself shine, where whether it's exercising, whether if I get somebody in front of me and they come in and have a conversation for 3 minutes, it's gonna feel like an hour conversation because I'm gonna try to feed them as much as I can feed them in 3 minutes to show them why they need to be with me, why I'm the best one for them. And that's it. And just like I said, just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yep.
I think everything Dante just said was so perfect, so on point. And I just resonate with that. I think we both kind of started around the same time with my FitPod. So I've experienced some of the things that you're saying resonate with my experience as well. Just that what I've taken out of this is that, first of all, Amanda, right? Like that first email list that I give you, like all the people I know, like I said pretty much off the bat, like this is not, no one responds to this. Like anyone who was in my existing network when I first started out, like they're not my clients. They're not, or maybe they are, but they don't know it yet because they need to see me doing it more. And so I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. And like, you know, just like Dante, I use the camera a lot. I'm putting myself out there. And in order to kind of shed those inhibitions a little bit, like any self-doubt, you do have to, like you said, be your biggest cheerleader. Nobody else is going to cheer you on and support you like your own self. Just like you're probably, especially if you said something like, you know, imposter syndrome and all those things, like I get that. And like that's the self-doubt and that's that inner critic, and you're your own worst critic. You're probably like, you know, able to beat yourself up and, you know, all the things to say to yourself that are just going to crush you and like make you not want to do anything and lose all motivation. So we need to just put that, you know, that does not matter, like, you know, because that's just negative talk, automatic negative thoughts that are not going to serve us or our mission here of building this business. So you need to keep pouring love and appreciation for all you can do. You know, there is something called fake it till you make it, and it's not imposter syndrome. Like it's just, you need to believe in yourself, put yourself out there, even if you feel like maybe you're faking it a little, like you're not, you're just, you know, like you're just saying why you're the best, why you're feeling like the right one for this. Lead with confidence, and that's going to shine through. But ultimately you will lose people no matter what. All right. And my thing is like, try not to take it personally. Like, and I do, but no matter what. And I just had the meeting with one of the best things, first was my FitPod is helping me with everything, with staying and organizing my business. Mindset is such a big part of this, and staying consistent and having, if you can, you know, make sure that you can get on weekly meet sessions with Amanda and Michael, and you has put together, you know, plans and stick to it and listen to what they're telling you to guide you. Then it's just a matter of doing it and trying your best. Don't stop, just keep going, because it'll snowball and it'll happen. You'll look back over the past year. Like I've looked over this past year, it's been growth, right? So it's slow growth. And I learned from that. And so you're learning what works, what doesn't work. And then you try to make it more growth, exponential, right? That's what we're hoping for as we keep honing it all. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Consistency, believe in yourself. Pretty much just to second what you said. It was everything you just said in my own experience.
Thank you so much for that. As you were saying, talking about the limiting beliefs, I imagine a bag in my head and just putting those beliefs in that bag, throwing them away. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Oh, that's a great meditation. That's a good one. But definitely those beliefs are what's going to block you. But if you start believing that you have the ability for other things, then it's going to come. And you know, it's funny because we had our meeting last week. And on last week, we had this about yoga. I teach yoga and how I can go global. And right now, I'm focused. I'm internet. I'm national. I'm like, I have a few states, and how cool is that? That I'm like not even. I'm teaching in the different states, but like we're like one of the other people on. They're like, you can go global, and I'm like, yeah, I think I could go global, right? And like just putting that out there, believing in yourself. I got a client this weekend, so a couple days after in Germany. So like that was crazy, right? But like
Yes.
you put it out there in the universe and I believed it. I was like, so why can't I go global? And I believed it, and so believe in yourself and it'll happen.
Yeah,
Sorry, I get excited. I like to jump around, like your wins. Like I like, yes, like we always behind the scenes,
You're in it a lot though. You are behind the scenes because it's like, just a very important aspect to help me through the process of gaining these clients and these leads and learning how to communicate with them. Just like the information you guys gave me today or this week, I should say, about, I said, I'm stuck like with the conversation. And you're like, you got to bring it back to the whys, and they'll ask and get them to start talking about, even though these conversations are already kind of like over maybe in your inbox, they're not like I went back and you get them, and people like talking about themselves. So they do,
that's always a good fallback, is when you don't know what to say, just get them to keep talking about themselves. Just ask them more questions about themselves and they'll just keep going. That is the best primer for people closing. When they get excited, they're talking about themselves, they're talking about their future goals, and you're leading that conversation right into what their life is going to look like after they've achieved those goals. And then you're saying, when do you want to get started? And they're saying now. That's how you want it to go. So thanks so much for sharing, Jen and Dante. I love those stories. That was, I think, just so accurate, even just from my experience in business in all kinds of different industries. Like that's generally how it goes, is that there's so many ups and downs. And the key to it is like getting a plan in place and sticking to that plan. And it only becomes easier over time. Like I have a question for you, Jen. When from the first video that you made, I imagine that video was pretty hard to make, right? About how long would you say it took, or how many videos it took for you to just get as comfortable kind of as you are now, where you're cranking out videos and it's more easy? Like I'm sure there's like a period of time that it takes to get to that point. What would you say for that?
Yeah, like everything is just practice. Like there was times like I was nervous just getting up in front of my Zoom live class and like making sure like, my setup, but I've got live classes every day almost, and I've been doing this with you guys for over a year now. So it's become like, everything becomes second nature. And it's the same thing with sharing my content and, my marketing. I'm honing my voice, right? My brand. I'm trying to just not think about things, maybe not, you've helped me too. Like, don't get stuck in the overthinking process of things. Like, just create it and put it out there. Get everything out there. If it's taking too long, like just move on, keep moving forward, put it out there. But very important to put it out there.
Progress, not perfection, guys.
Progress, not perfection.
We want to keep moving. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. I don't even know if perfection exists, right?
And because of that, because that'll paralyze you. If you're worried about everything being perfect, nothing is going to be perfect. So if I was worried about that, then I wouldn't have started my live stream classes. I would, because my camera might not be right, or the lighting, but because I started the live stream classes, and then I hit record, I start hitting record on your classes. And then when you do that, then guess what? Then you upload those into your on-demand library and you create more value for yourself. So if you're not recording your live classes, I think you're missing an opportunity to have those pre-recorded classes then in your on-demand library as a way to just have either as another way to offer value or offer like a freebie. You can give that away as like a freebie, as a way to get someone into your website. So those are different things to do for sure. But Yeah, finding my voice. I'm still working on it, and it gets easier over time. I'm always learning different tips. So like one of the things that you can learn about is like talking to the camera as yourself, and like less of my just like videos of doing things or pictures, like very like personal. And even if you do mess up, that's okay. It's all that's very likable and human. So people like you more. But those are harder. Those are harder to do for me. So some tips I'll give you that have helped me and that I've taken away are, one tip is don't look at yourself when you're filming those. If you are going to do camera talk type videos and talk about yourself, you turn your camera and you look at it this way. You just look and you set it up, make sure that you're in frame. And that's going to be a much more authentic way to express yourself, because you're not staring at your own face when you're talking to people usually, except now I'm staring at myself and all of you. It's like, but usually that's not how we interact. And so we're less awkward. We're much more natural. So that's the first tip. And the other tip is, it's called the 3-take rule. So pretty much if you want to wing it, which is what I do a lot, fine. If you have a lot of space, which you guys know I don't have on my phone now, so I really got to delete these videos that take up so much, but winging it and then edit and then fine. But like pretty much have an idea of what you're going to say and try to do it. And if it's taking more than 3 takes, you're done, walk away. Like, and it's kind of the same thing. It goes back to where we're not going to keep wasting time on something that's not working. So those are the things that I would say to work on and share. Keep posting a lot of reels and stories on Instagram. Don't spend too much time there, but I like the Facebook and Instagram ads that Michael, you and Amanda, you've helped me with so much to get out. I think it's brought in some cool, like people that I wouldn't have otherwise reached. But yeah, share your message. Share and like that one video that I posted as an ad that one was a voiceover. So voiceover is another thing you can try. That might be easier way to have something that you want to prepare and speak over it while your video is montaging, maybe you working with your clients or just your clients, things like that.
Do you have any tips, Jen, on the app that you use to splice videos together or anything, or make reels, or do you do that all on Instagram? What's your process on that?
I like to do everything a lot in Instagram. It's just very, easy to do it like that. And I was doing it like that for a while, but then once I was getting that ad, the last ad we did, I wasn't happy with like the placement of like the I want captions over it. And so I use CapCut, and CapCut is a good app I would suggest using. And also Canva is an app I have to use Canva for my business now at this point. There's a free version you can use. And so you can try it and play around. And then once you start using it a lot, I switched to the pro version because it's just so much more that I needed to do with my business, like offering like workbooks, and like I was doing a series. So there's free, when we do the Facebook free events, those are a great way to get people in as well. So I would definitely recommend a Facebook free event to then market to lead people to come into a series or your intro offer or whatever it is that you're promoting.
Definitely. Yeah. Thanks, Jen. I was looking for some advice on good apps to use to splice videos together. So CapCut, that's
the
one. Cool.
Like Canva is okay too. Canva is good for the everything that you'd want to input into CapCut if you have images and anything like that that's like more graphics, and then the editing would all be in your CapCut, and you can like speed things up and add music.
Awesome. I don't know, Dante or Kate, do you use any other apps or have any other suggestions on what you're doing from your media?
Yeah, I use to edit my videos. I use I think it's Splice. I think well, Spice SP. Hold on to make sure. It's an app where I use. That's why I edit all my videos at on there.
Nice. I'll put them all together and I'll drop
And I was
it
editing.
into.
I was I gotta run to the gym. I was there.
Oh, Dante, you're on mute. If you're talking to us, you're on mute.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. Yeah, I used iMovie before off the iPhone. That was one, but then I used the app with Splice. I think it was Splice. I gotta look at what app it is. That it's a good one that I use to edit because you can add. They give you sound effects that you can use, and you can actually have sound effects in the back of your music, or if you're talking, you can have music playing in the back that Instagram and them won't order or nothing. Like they'll let it play through. It's regular like sounds that you get in the background. So like smoothing it out when you're giving your message to people just to give it a tone. It's like an inspiration background, motivation, fast background, energy. So you get to pick what type of instrumental music you want in the background of it.
Awesome.
That I also use Canva too a lot. And then I use let me say they all on my phone. I use another one that's Pixie, Pixie or something like that. That I use for pitch editing pictures and just bringing the color out different stuff like that. So I just try free ones over and over to see which ones I like best. Tell you the truth, I just keep seeing what's best.
I'll start a conversation inside school in the group,
and
and you guys can just start adding.
I gotta look at my
your
phone.
tools.
Exactly. Yeah, the exact name of the apps, and I'll throw something in there.
Awesome.
Instagram
It's better when
updated.
you can edit and use it. It's better editing them than on Instagram a lot of times because then you can go on Instagram and just play around with it because you can have it run through already from off of the apps and it runs perfect because you can get it down to a T how you want to jump into the next exercise or the next whatever, however you want it. So that's what works fine for me. Doing that a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Dante.
And then just with being in front of the camera, I just act like it's a crowd of a room and people. Just act like you're talking to people. That's how I get comfortable with like doing it in front of cameras or in front of the video, doing the video. I just act like it's people in there already. Just act like you're talking to people in the room. If you're giving a speech or you trying to give a message, just act like you're looking around at people. Nobody don't know you ain't got nobody in there. So if you make it look like you actually engaging with clients in the room already, it just makes it look better. It gives a different feel, a different energy. Because you can just move like you're turning your hand, talking to people already. So that's what I do a lot. I do a lot like I'm actually talking to or surrounding the people already, which most times it's just me in there. And I'm just doing the video.
That's a great tip because it's so much more awkward to just talk to a camera by yourself. But even if you can, the mindset that this video is going to somebody or a group of people, like it can help be more natural, you know?
Yeah. And that's what it does. It makes it like more natural. Now you're not just looking to look at the camera and get what you're saying. You actually like you scouting the room and seeing who catching your attention or who you could talk to.
Right. Yeah, that's
more what I do a lot. And I just feel the more you motivate or talk to people, the more people respond. Because even when they come through the message, you'll get people to hit it, but they don't be ready. They hit it just because the video caught their attention and they liked what was going on for the moment.
Yeah.
So now it just they kind of interested, but they're not ready yet. They're not even at the part of hitting the link to sign up because they don't have no motivation because now life gonna question them. Oh, I ain't gonna have time. Oh, I don't got this. I don't got that. And it just reaching back out. Me, I just always reach back out. Even if it's 2 weeks later and nobody never responds to me reaching back out to them. I just send another, hey, I was thinking, man, I want to get you in for a free class. See how we can help you out. They'll come try it out. If they don't, I just wait another 2 weeks in the same message again.
I was thinking of you. How are you doing? Yeah, there's some time there. Well, guys, I do want to just get this wrapped up because we're getting close to the end of our call. But y'all are amazing. Like seriously, from us to you, like the conversation can't happen if you don't show up and absorb and participate. So thank you always for that. Use the discussion. If you guys have questions throughout the week, right? Feel free to ask your peers, throw it in there, you know, hey, I just had this conversation and I wasn't sure how to respond to it. Throw it in because we're all in that school, check in daily, respond to one another, share those best practices, keep each other motivated. That is what this is all about, and for you. And I think that really, you guys have an amazing weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms here, and dad supporting their moms.
Yeah, right. That's what it really is. Yeah.
Mothers to others, all of that good stuff. Michael, anything you want to add to close? This is just such a good conversation. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, just thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks so much. Yeah, jump in the group. I'd love to see some of your wins. Share, if you got your first member or your 50th member, maybe post that in the group. Just keep everyone motivated. And also, yeah, feel free to just join the discussion in there anytime. Have an awesome rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And I look forward to talking to you all next week.
Y'all too. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank